Seek your purpose in life and achieve it. We all have a unique purpose in life, and it's up to us to find it and pursue it with all our might. So, if you're feeling lost or stuck, this message is for you. First and foremost, I want to remind you that you are capable of greatness. You have the potential to do amazing things and make a positive impact in the world. But to do so, you must first discover what it is that sets your soul on fire. To find your purpose in life, you must start by looking within yourself. What do you enjoy doing? What makes you happy? What are your strengths and weaknesses? What problems in the world do you want to solve? These are all questions that can help guide you towards your purpose. But finding your purpose is just the first step. The next step is to pursue it with everything you have. You must be willing to put in the hard work and dedication that it takes to achieve your goals. It won't be easy, and there will be setbacks along the way, but you must keep pushing forward. Remember, success is not a destination, it's a journey. It's the small steps you take every day towards your goal that add up to the big achievements. So, don't get discouraged if things don't happen overnight. Keep moving forward, and you will get there eventually. So, my challenge to you is to find your purpose in life and pursue it with all your heart. You have the potential to do amazing things, and I can't wait to see what you achieve. Go out there and make your mark on the world. Ways of appreciating yourself to appreciate others. Each and every one of us is unique and special in our own way. You possess talents, skills, and qualities that are exclusive to you and that the world needs. You are a valuable asset to this world, and it's about time you started appreciating yourself. Often, we get lost in our daily routines, busy schedules, and deadlines, and we forget to appreciate ourselves. We forget to acknowledge our successes, our achievements, our hard work, and our efforts. We forget to give ourselves credit for our accomplishments, and in doing so, we lose sight of our self-worth. However, did you know that appreciating yourself is the first step towards appreciating others? When you start acknowledging your strengths and your weaknesses, when you start understanding your emotions and your desires, when you start embracing your individuality, you become more empathetic, more compassionate, and more understanding towards others. By appreciating yourself, you learn to respect yourself. And when you respect yourself, you start respecting others. When you start respecting others, you start acknowledging their strengths, their achievements, their hard work, and their efforts. You start seeing them as individuals with their unique talents, skills, and qualities, just like you. So, the question is, how can you appreciate yourself to appreciate others? First, start by focusing on your strengths and accomplishments. Write them down, celebrate them, and be proud of them. Don't let your failures or weaknesses define you. Instead, learn from them and use them as a stepping stone towards your goals. Secondly, take care of yourself. Eat healthy, exercise, meditate, read a book, listen to music, or do something that brings you joy and happiness. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. It's necessary for your well-being. Lastly, practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with the same kindness, concern, and support that you would give to a good friend. When you make a mistake or experience a setback, don't beat yourself up. Instead, Be kind and understanding to yourself and use it as a learning opportunity. Appreciating yourself is the first step towards appreciating others. When you respect and value yourself, you start seeing the good in others. So, take some time to appreciate yourself, and in doing so, you'll be able to appreciate others more fully. Why failure is success in disguise to those who don't give up. We're always told to strive for success and avoid failure at all costs. But I want to challenge this mindset and tell you that failure is not something to be feared or avoided. It's actually success in disguise. Yes, you heard me right. Failure is an essential part of the journey to success. Those who don't give up when they fail are the ones who ultimately succeed. Why is this so? Well, failure teaches us some of the most important lessons that we'll ever learn. When we fail, we're forced to confront our weaknesses and limitations. We learn where we need to improve and what we need to do differently next time. We learn resilience, perseverance, and determination. We learn how to get up after we've been knocked down, and how to keep going even when everything seems to be going against us. In fact, some of the most successful people in history have failed time and time again before they finally achieve their goals. Take Thomas Edison, for example. He failed over 1,000 times before he finally invented the light bulb. But he never gave up. He saw each failure as a step closer to success, and eventually he succeeded. So, I want to encourage you to embrace failure as an essential part of the journey to success. Don't be afraid to take risks and try new things, even if there's a chance that you might fail. Failure is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of courage and determination. It shows that you're willing to put yourself out there, to take a chance on yourself, and to keep going even when things get tough. And remember, failure is not the end of the story. It's just a chapter in the journey to success. If you don't give up, if you keep trying and learning and growing, you will ultimately succeed. So, embrace failure. Embrace it as an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to ultimately achieve your dreams. Own up to your mistakes and learn from them. We all make mistakes. It's part of being human. However, what sets successful people apart is their ability to take responsibility for their actions and use those experiences to grow and become better. It's easy to try to shift the blame to others, to make excuses, or to deny that we did anything wrong. But the truth is, those actions only hold us back from progress and growth. We cannot learn from our mistakes if we don't acknowledge them. Instead, when we take responsibility for our actions, we open ourselves up to learning opportunities. We can reflect on what went wrong and why, and use that knowledge to make better decisions in the future. We can also learn important lessons about ourselves, our values, and our priorities. When we make mistakes, it's important to be honest with ourselves and others about what happened. Admitting fault can be difficult, but it's a crucial step in the process of moving forward. It shows that we have integrity and that we are committed to self-improvement. Remember, making mistakes is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of being human. What matters is how we respond to those mistakes. If we own up to them and learn from them, we can turn them into valuable learning experiences that make us stronger and more resilient. So, let's all commit to owning up to our mistakes and using them to become better versions of ourselves. Let's embrace the learning opportunities that come from our failures and use them as fuel to propel us forward. Accepting your financial and social status. Many people struggle with accepting their financial and social status, and it can be a difficult thing to come to terms with. However, I want to encourage you to embrace where you are and to focus on taking steps to better your situation. Accepting your current financial and social status doesn't mean that you have to settle for it forever. Instead, it means acknowledging where you are and then working towards making changes that can improve your situation. The first step is to start by setting goals for yourself. Whether it's paying off debt, saving money, or finding a better job, having clear goals in mind can give you a sense of direction and purpose. Once you have identified your goals, it's time to create a plan of action. This may involve creating a budget, networking, or seeking out additional education or training. It's important to remember that change doesn't happen overnight, but by consistently working towards your goals, you will begin to see progress. It's also important to stay positive and to believe in yourself. Sometimes, we can be our own worst enemy when it comes to achieving success. But having a positive mindset can help us to stay focused and motivated. Finally, don't forget to celebrate your successes along the way. Each step towards achieving your goals is a reason to be proud and to celebrate. Whether it's a small victory like sticking to your budget for a week, or a bigger accomplishment like landing a new job, take time to acknowledge your progress and give yourself credit for your hard work. Remember, accepting your financial and social status is not a sign of weakness, but rather a sign of strength. It takes courage to confront where you are and to work towards something better. So, keep pushing forward, believe in yourself, and never give up on your dreams. With hard work and determination, you can achieve anything you set your mind to. Just do it. Never has Nike's famous slogan been so apt to a generation. The illustrious "Just Do It" catchphrase has captured the attention of millions of people across the world. But despite the number of people who are aware of Nike's motto, its familiarity leads many people to overlook the simplistic meaning behind the world's most famous tagline. Whatever your goals or aspirations, just do it. Don't wait for the perfect time, because the perfect time will never come. There will always be something to wait for, something you feel isn't right. But those who truly succeed in life just do it. How does it feel to know that everything you could have been, all the accolades you could have won, and all the achievements which slipped from your grasp didn't happen for one reason? To think that one simple action may have changed your life forever. Many people are led to believe that they have to be outstanding in order for them to achieve within their chosen industry. This is not so. The world is full of wasted potential. There are people considered naturally gifted who remain the best-kept secret because they lack the courage to act. Granted, some ability needs to be present, but the courage to act on your passion is what will make the biggest difference. The moment you take action, you increase the chances of success by 100%. To put this into perspective, think back to a time in your life that undeniably changed you. A moment where you were presented with a choice. It may have been asking somebody on a date who ended up being the love of your life, or making the choice to go back into education to become a successful executive. That is the power of acting now. and the fear of the potential downfalls should be outweighed by the impending possibilities. The following are examples of people who saw opportunities to follow something they had a true passion for, to which they are now amongst some of the most successful people in the world. Richard Branson, of the Virgin Group, first decided to take action selling cut-out records from the boot of his car in London. Despite poor school grades and dyslexia, over the coming years, his competitive spirit and self-admitted desire to set himself huge, apparently unachievable challenges allowed him to build the self-confidence and business acumen to overcome a bank overdraft of millions, momentarily putting his whole empire at risk. There are now numerous enterprises which operate under the Virgin brand, to which Sir Richard Branson has amassed a personal wealth in excess of £3 billion. I wonder how different his life would have been if he thought that his school results reflected his potential. K. Rowling, the British author, best known for her creation of the Harry Potter fantasy series, progressed from living on welfare to a multi-millionaire status within 5 years. Having been diagnosed with depression and suffering suicidal thoughts whilst writing the Harry Potter series, she persisted despite being a single parent. From the point of taking action, it took Joan Rowling 5 long, hard years to complete the concept, which has now earned her the title of one of the richest people in the UK, with a fortune worth no less than £500 million. What kind of life would Joan be leading had she used her depression and single mother status as an excuse not to act on her life-changing idea? These are 2 great examples of how an idea has manifested to the point that a decision was made to take action. To act on something is not always easy, but when all is said and done, the worst that can happen is your idea doesn't work, or somebody says no. Don't be tempered with regret for the things you did not do. In our lives, we don't remember days, we remember moments. The next time you have an epiphany, make sure you act on it and make that one of many moments you remember. I will leave you with one of my favorite act now quotes by Agmondino. I will act now. I will act now. I will act now. Henceforth, I will repeat these words each hour, each day, every day, until the words become as much a habit as my breathing, and the action which follows becomes as instinctive as the blinking of my eyelids. With these words, I can condition my mind to perform every action necessary for my success. I will act now. I will repeat these words again and again and again. I will walk where failures fear to walk. I will work when failures seek rest. I will act now, for now is all I have. Tomorrow is the day reserved for the labor of the lazy. I am not lazy. Tomorrow is the day when the failure will succeed. I am not a failure. I will act now. Success will not wait. If I delay, success will become wed to another and lost to me forever. This is the time. This is the place. I am the person. Agmondino. Impossible is nothing. Have you ever noticed that your belief in attaining a goal is increased once you have witnessed somebody else successfully achieving the same feat? Or that something that was once considered impossible is achieved more frequently following its initial attainment? Like climbing Mount Everest and walking the moon, running a sub-4-minute mile was deemed a physical impossibility. That was until Roger Bannister and the 1609 meters in 3 minutes, 59.4 seconds on the 6th of May 1954. Following Roger's successful attempt, in only 3 years, a further 16 athletes managed to break the 4-minute mile. The confirmation that something can be achieved seems to be a strong positive influence when assessing our personal belief in attaining the same or similar success. It is as if we are given permission to excel and fulfill what is often a reserve of untapped potential. Whether it is positive or negative, the beliefs we hold influence what we are willing to attempt or avoid, limiting or expanding the world around us as a result. What we aspire to be is more than what we are, yet less than what we are capable of. Don Williams, individual team player. I have always enjoyed the camaraderie of working within a team. Whatever the result, I find the feeling of a combined effort towards an agreed goal and the celebration of success or group communion following an undesired result extremely rewarding. The importance of teamwork when trying to achieve results is well known. Research has consistently shown that a team will produce better results than an individual. However, it is each individual's contribution that produces the team result. Your idea of an individual player may be that of an over-arrogant, self-indulged work colleague or teammate that overbearingly voices their involvement in any success in which they were loosely involved, whilst pointing out the flaws of a task that has failed without showing any unity towards their associates. Although these types of people do act within their own guidelines, it is often a result of their narcissistic personality and not their extraordinary ability. A true individual performer is somebody that has accountability towards the tasks that needs to be done in order to achieve a goal. They have a level of confidence that allows them to step out beyond the comfort zones of the other team members, yet they still act for and with the best intention towards the team. These people often end up being authoritative figures within a team, a leader. Those that work or compete within a team environment, wishing to step above and beyond what is required of them, need to understand that part of the criteria which affects our own and other people's perception whether we performed at a high level is our willingness to involve and encourage other team members. Although the two are often cited as opposites, it is true that an outstanding individual performance requires an exceptional amount of teamwork. Some individuals can make a huge difference within the dynamics of a team, but most people don't accept their power to make or break the collaborative effort. You work within a team atmosphere and feel passionate about the desired goal. It is time to start taking personal responsibility. Take action towards what you need to do to improve the chance of success. That means you have to help others with their tasks or take on more than you initially intended. So be it. Remember, an outstanding individual is and has to be a great team player. It is not a question of how well each process works. The question is how well they all work together. Lloyd Dobbins. How strong is your why? Here's a scenario. You know that idea you have for a new venture in your life. Success or fail, you will receive £3 million if you pursue it for 5 years, regardless of the problems that you encounter along the way. Despite all the setbacks you come across, or the money you lose, you will receive £3 million for your efforts. The only catch is that you have to pursue this venture and make it part of your lifestyle for the following 5 years. You have to spend year after year pursuing this goal without any loss of passion or ambition. And if at any point you contemplate giving up, you will not receive the money. Let's say this venture was for a business. But 1 year in, you become a victim of credit card fraud, which bankrupts the newly found company. What would you do? Chances are you would take the loss on the chin and revise the errors you made previously to come back as a new and improved company. Now, imagine there was no guaranteed £3 million at the end of the 5 years. After such crippling setbacks, would you still have the courage to support the venture with such a passion? Probably not. Most would give up with the notion that they had tried. Another scenario would be if you received a phone call from the hospital regarding a loved one who had been seriously hurt, with only a very short time left to live. You would most likely get in your car and head straight to the hospital. What if on the way, a series of freak road accidents happened, blocking the route between you and the one you love? I am almost certain you would get out of the car and do whatever it took to get there, be it walking, running, or hitchhiking. Would you take such great lengths if this visit to the hospital was for a checkup? My guesses are you would go home and rearrange the appointment. The difference between these two situations is the strength of the why. If your why is big enough, the how is usually not a problem. Many of life's most successful people have the ability to find a compelling why in everything they focus on. Because of this capacity, they are able to produce outstanding results and complete what they initially set out to do despite the obstacles thrown in their way. When your desires are strong enough, you will appear to possess superhuman powers to achieve. Napoleon Hill. The greatest compliment. One of the best compliments somebody can receive is "you have the potential." I say this because it suggests that somebody has seen a deep and greater level of ability than you are currently displaying. It means that regardless of your current position or any mistakes you have made, somebody has made a judgment on your ability and feels that you are still able to progress and improve. For many, the concept of your own potential is difficult to comprehend. The ability to look at your own habitual patterns, skills, and achievements subjectively requires a great deal of analysis and a non-biased approach. Without this capacity for self-appraisal, many people feel that they are performing at 100% with nothing else left to give. Believe it or not, there is a reserve of potential that is left intact in most people. The likes of Leonardo da Vinci, Beethoven, and Einstein have provided us with a yardstick for what we may be capable of. There are even modern-day examples of people who have displayed extraordinary level of positive human potential. Richard Branson, Leonard Cohen, and Steve Redgrave. Each of these people has elicited a level of achievement that is only possible through the understanding of their own capabilities during times of mediocrity. Regardless of whether they have had to tell themselves or be told by others, the belief that they have the potential to move far beyond their present performance has allowed them to excel in more than just one area of their life. Fulfilling your potential may not correlate in additional income or national praise, but giving yourself the opportunity to progress will leave you with a great sense of fulfillment and a level of contentedness that is unmatched in those that are too afraid to nurture the power that lies within them. Uncovering what you are truly capable of lies in the courage to take action and the awareness of your own strengths and weaknesses. Through identifying and developing these factors, you increase your expectations and enforce a more positive belief of what you are able to accomplish. What we aspire to be is more than what we are, yet less than what we are capable of. Don Williams, Jr. Your attitude determines your latitude. Attitude is an important element when striving for success. One of the first and foremost things to do when wanting to transform our lives is to change our attitude. It is often said that there is little difference in people, but that little difference makes a big difference. That little difference is attitude. The big difference is whether it is positive or negative. The statement could not be truer. Attitude we take determines the level of success in attaining our potential and the intensity we put into our actions. The goals you are able to attain are in direct proportion to your attitude, because a positive outlook influences your determination when faced with new challenges. The one thing we must remember is that we can remain in control of our attitude. Nobody dictates our attitude to us. People can affect our attitude, but nobody can control it. When you have been dealt repeated failure and common sense would suggest you give up, a positive attitude interprets the failure as another opportunity to learn and adapt. It is your positive attitude which believes persistence pays off and that your efforts are compounded, with only a matter of time before the desired results present themselves. Any challenge facing us is not as important as our attitude towards it. This is what determines our success or failure. When facing a challenge, the pessimist dwells on the problem. The optimist emphasizes the solution. The pessimist blames everybody else. The optimist takes full responsibility. That is the critical difference in the two attitudes. The human mind tends to build onto itself. So if negative thoughts are present, it becomes a slippery slope to failure. However, if like an optimist, you see the solution, in the face of adversity, you present yourself with a light, a possible way through, and a greater chance of success. It is important to remember that our attitude is a permanent fixture in the way we live. If we want to succeed in a goal, we must let our attitude radiate regardless of the task at hand or the people watching. It is easy to do world-class work when people are looking. The real test is what you do when no one is looking. Does that world-class attitude still present itself? High achievers are able to maintain focus regardless of who is there. The greatest discovery of my generation is that a man can alter his life simply by altering his attitude of mind. William James. Solution for success. It can be very difficult to assess the nature of our own attitude, but the simplest way cut through our bravado is to understand how we deal with the problems and challenges that face us. These observations can also illustrate the attitudes of those around us. When dealing with adversity, regardless of the scale, the outcome is often determined by the attitude we take. Some people dwell on the issue, some focus on a solution. Those that dwell on a problem often struggle to find an answer due to their obsession on what they consider to be a hard-done-to disposition. However, those that actively try to rectify an issue are able to confront the problem with more efficiency, whilst remaining calm and controlled. Actions and emotions are more balanced when anger and resentment are not fueled by negativity or cynicism. Having a solution-based attitude does not mean that rage and frustration are absent. It is merely a case of redirecting the energy created from the stressful situation into a determined vigor which brings forth the ability to solve and overcome the problems you face. I have found that I was left with less patience and time to adjust to problems the more I concentrated on how much they irritated me. This spiraling, cynical attitude was a difficult predicament to recover from and distracted me from the process of overcoming the failure and achieving the aspirations I aimed for. By observing the actions of other people who I felt handled tough times in a composed manner, I noticed that there was an important pattern emerging. This pattern made it clear that I had to stop asking, "How can this happen to me?" and start saying, "How can I make this situation better?" The beauty of the soul shines out when a man bears with composure one heavy mischance after another, not because he does not feel them, but because he is a man of high and heroic temper. Aristotle quotes, "The fastest way to the top is by failing." You reflect back on the times in your life when you grew the most. I think you would agree with me that they were the result of a failure or a bout of adversity. Maybe after a series of injuries, your training restrictions resulted in you paying more attention to nutrition and the quality of the exercises you perform, leading to a maturation in overall development and performance. Or maybe after numerous failed sales pitches, you stopped to analyze the rejections, again resulting in a different approach which improves performance. A level of growth which may have been unattainable had those obstacles not occurred. People are generally naive about the benefits failure can bring and do not realize that small and occasionally large failures are essential for success, and not, as public perception would suggest, a failed attempt to become successful. Failure is a temporary condition, not a destination. If you take this attitude, then failure becomes an opportunity for learning what does not work, the strengthening of character in preparation for greater responsibilities, and an intermission for learning. We have to think of failure as having an ulterior motive, not for us to lose faith and quit, but to stop us long enough to allow us to learn what works and what doesn't work. This allows us to re-strategize and start again, better prepared and with greater confidence in our potential to succeed. The best thing we can do when we feel something has failed is ask ourselves, what can I learn from this? Perhaps the biggest myth of all is that people will think poorly of you for failing, leading to unnecessary pressure and an increased risk of overlooking fine details, ultimately leading you to fail. The truth is that a vast majority of people will respect you for trying. There is an old saying, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. Fear is generally based upon your own assumption of something which is not true. The trick is to persist in spite of any fear you have or failure you encounter. The fear you generate can be channeled into making sure no mistakes are made. Failure can ensure that those mistakes won't be made again. On your quest to success, there will be many times when you want to quit, give up, and settle for a life below that which you are capable of achieving. But the one quality that will guarantee your success is persistence. Approach your setbacks with intellect and see your dreams through to the end. Over 4,000 years ago in China, Confucius wrote, "Our greatest glory is not in never failing, but rising every time we fall." The following people are perfect examples of this truth. C.S. Lewis, The Chronicles of Narnia, had over 800 rejections before he sold even one piece of writing. Oprah Winfrey was not deterred when she got fired from her television reporter's job, being told, "You're not fit for TV." Og Mondino, the greatest salesman in the world, had lost his family to drink and became a homeless person before becoming an inspirational best-selling author, selling over 30 million books. Bill Gates and Michael Dell were college dropouts. Babe Ruth had more strikeouts than any other baseball player of his time. He also had the most home runs. After auditioning for his band, musician Eddie Bond told young Elvis Presley to stick to driving a truck because you'll never make it as a singer. Abe Lincoln lost his job and his sweetheart, failed miserably in business, was defeated for state legislature, had a nervous breakdown, was defeated for nomination for Congress, lost the re-election, was defeated for U.S. Senate, defeated for nomination of vice president, and again defeated for U.S. Senate, before being elected as the 16th President of the United States. He refused to allow his uncongenial circumstances to stop him. He refused to be a victim. He refused to accept failure. He refused to listen to people who told him he was crazy. He refused to stay down when he felt like nothing was going his way. Simply put, he picked himself up no matter what and kept on going after his dream. He educated himself and did whatever it took to keep moving in the direction of his passions. I think we need to remember that all of the people mentioned were, at one point, just like me and you. They had their strong and weak points. Some people believed in them, some people didn't. But despite what anyone thought, they chose to make progress towards their dreams and refused to let failure stop them. They saw failure as a resting point, somewhere they could reflect on their situation to allow a greater chance of success on their next attempt. By no means am I saying that failure is easy to deal with, but it is a test, and the way we handle that test determines the amount of success we are able to cope with. Our greatest glory is not in never failing, but in rising up every time we fail. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Hit rock bottom and gain perspective. If we wish to succeed, we must take chances. The bigger the risk, the greater the reward. What we often overlook is that with larger risk comes an increased possibility of hitting rock bottom. Because this condition is often neglected, the impact when we hit the bottom often feels crippling because we don't know how to perceive our situation other than in a negative manner. We must remember that in life, pain is inevitable. Suffering, however, is optional. Sometimes in life we are exposed to such immense amounts of pressure we begin to become self-destructive. Even the most level-headed, successful person will at some point in their life crumble under the strain. The only difference is their attitude and perception of hitting rock bottom. In fact, many of today's top entrepreneurs, self-help speakers, and sports athletes saw hitting rock bottom to their success. Adversity has an effect of eliciting talents, which in prosperous circumstances would have lain dormant. It is said that alcoholics must hit rock bottom before they are willing to attempt to give it up. Now, in many cases, we may not reach these types of extremes. However, the stress of multiple bills or work-related depression can lead many people to feel they are at their lowest. We all have different perceptions of what our rock bottom is. Rock bottom is solid ground where we can build ourselves back up. When we hit our rock bottom, the confusions of our life are quickly prioritized, and we are left with two choices: to keep as we are doing and stay in the current state, or to start making changes towards a better quality of life. People's lifestyles involve many different stimuli, both good and bad. This can cause great confusion and overcomplicate the most simplistic matters, from what we want from life to paying our bills. Before we know it, we feel we are in too deep to change, when in fact all we need do is to break our problems down into the basic element. With the right attitude, rock bottom can bring clarity and and simplify our lives and start afresh. If you don't like how things are, change them. You have the ability to transform every area of your life, any day you wish. You can discipline yourself to change it all. It all begins with your power of choice. If change makes you feel uncomfortable, you can remain as you are. You can choose rest over labor, comfort over ambition, security over happiness. The choices are yours to make, but what you must remember is that you created your current circumstances by past choices. You have the ability to make better choices starting today. When it is dark enough, you can see the stars. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Integrity. In 2009, there is a recession in which bank managers are still treating themselves to unjust rewards. Politicians are covertly claiming expenses for luxury items, and the role models to the youth are displaying arrogant and thuggish type behavior. It leaves me wondering, has the concept of integrity been forgotten? Comments such as "it's a dog-eat-dog world" are continually reiterated, giving those wanting to aspire to great success the belief that their dreams are attainable if they are willing to get there at the expense of others. There have been many go-getters that have achieved wealth due to their non-existent moral code, but this does not make them successful. Their lack of restraint towards situations that offer roots of honesty or deceit led them to favor the option which guarantees a higher or faster rate of attainment, without any sense of fair dealing or consideration regarding the outcome for others. But with every self-interested decision that is made, there is a proportionate decline in your reputation in the eyes of your peers. We are all guilty of making decisions which predominantly benefit ourselves with disregard as to whether it was morally right or wrong. An example would be that I strongly believe that should an argument or disagreement occur, the topic should not stray onto past, unrelated issues or personal insults. However, mounting stress and provocation often leads people to abandon their normal code of behavior. A great indication as to whether you have the potential to establish a strong sense of integrity is the feeling of guilt following a decision that resulted in you gaining an advantage whilst unjustifiably deceiving or insulting another. The feeling of guilt is an indication that you have a set of principles that have been neglected. This suggests that you have boundaries, but they require further development along with your ability to exercise self-control. Those with integrity are guided by a set of principles that empowers them to behave consistently to a high standard. The principles of integrity are virtues such as dependability, honesty, loyalty, compassion, objectivity, respect, and trust. On occasions, these standards may not be met, but that does not mean the person is dishonest and malicious to the code. There are many aspects of integrity that have to be built up over years of personal experience. Although our parents try to instill some fundamental sense of right and wrong to guide us as children, our own code of conduct is a very personal journey which is determined by our own experiences throughout life. Depending on our willingness to continually question and critically analyze our current beliefs along with the scope of life experiences we encounter, the ability to develop and execute acts of integrity lies in every heartache we encounter and goal we achieve. It's not what we eat, but what we digest that makes us strong. Not what we gain, but what we save that makes us rich. Not what we read, but what we remember that makes us learn. And not what we profess, but what we practice that gives us integrity. Francis Bacon, Sr. Conquering with quiet confidence. There is nothing more captivating than a person with a quiet confidence. They have the ability to remain calm when others feel anxious, make concise, definitive statements, and project a determined vigor that is motivated through their personal beliefs. Their ability to outclass others without having to boast or gossip stems from the unpretentious, modest manner which they project as a result of their self-belief and confidence. The most important aspect in developing self-confidence comes from knowledge. As Sir Francis Bacon said, knowledge is power. By increasing your knowledge, you create a clearer understanding toward that which you have studied, along with a level of self-assurance that responds confidently when questioned or confronted. As an example, through understanding and assessing your belief system, core values, and motivations, you develop confidence in the rules and restraints in which you choose to abide by. You are made aware of what is and isn't acceptable according to your moral code. You also recognize the genuine intent of your actions and the motivation behind them. By taking the time to explore yourself, you develop a clear picture of who you are and why you do what you do. This results in the confidence to act without the need to justify or shield your behavior. The same can be said if you were to improve your knowledge within a different area. Cooking, for example. If you wanted to cook a shepherd's pie as a novice, you would no doubt lack the self-belief of completing the dish without the aid of instructions or a mentor. If questioned on your methods and ingredients, you would most probably stutter and fumble whilst pointing to your internet-printed instructions. If, on the other hand, you took your time to learn things such as the ideal cooking temperatures, ingredient relationship regarding taste, and even the history of the dish, you develop a commending attitude towards the task. Although the two examples illustrate the same point, I believe that in order to create a consistent and sustainable level of genuine self-confidence, the issue of understanding your personal values and motivations is essential and a prerequisite. Without this, you leave opportunity to avoid attempting new challenges and stepping out of your comfort zone. By understanding ourselves, we are able to snowball our success within one area into another. You were to ask me to create an effective weight loss program for somebody or landscape a garden. As a sport and exercise graduate, my confidence levels would be highest when devising the fitness program. But as I learn more about myself, I can say that I could tackle somebody's garden with a degree of assurance. Despite having little knowledge within the area, I know and trust my attitude in the sense that I would take time to learn the fundamental principles, improving the chances of success. Start looking introspectively and appreciate all of your previous successes, big or small. Whatever your current expertise, remember that there was a point when you knew little about the area. Start believing that you can transfer the same confidence from your current specialism into a whole new area. To succeed with confidence, knowledge is important, but knowledge of self is critical. You know the enemy and know yourself. You need not fear the results of 100 battles. Sun Tzu. Count your daily success. What is success? In today's society of MTV cribs and easy celebrity, has our perception of success been shifted into something that will lead us to ultimately fail? Can any of us think of becoming successful without having the luxuries of £1,000,000 in the bank and a sports car. If I were to ask you what success is, chances are you would say something along the lines of being rich or never having to work. Am I right? There is a problem with this definition of success. By associating success with lots of money and fast cars, it becomes a far greater challenge to ordinary people like you and I. We find that if we don't live up to what we believe to be success, then we are failures. This can lead to a life of unfulfilled mediocrity, where I'm hanging and there becomes your automated response when asked by other people how we are doing. One of my favorite definitions of success is the achievement of something desired, planned, or attempted. So, if you desire to gain an honors degree and you get it, that's a success. You plan your day around looking after your children and work and satisfy both areas, that's a success. You attempt to try something you have never done and it comes off, that's a success. These are what I like to call our daily successes, achievements that we accomplish on a regular basis without being fully aware of just how successful we are. Through having awareness of these smaller accomplishments, we gain the self-confidence and momentum to gradually move on to bigger goals. By dreaming big from the start, the chances of us giving up on the first or second attempt are greater than if we were to redefine what success means to us. When you put success on a pedestal, every failure feels like a huge blow that is almost too tough to recover from. But by changing our perception of what success is, we can manage each failure without losing too much enthusiasm and focus. Although the journey to a larger success, such as a profitable business or well-paid managerial role, will take a little longer, it will be more attainable if we are aware of our daily success, like our ability to communicate or organize. It is important to remember that success is a sum of small efforts made each day and often takes years to achieve. It is not a sudden mammoth event. People can become successful the minute they decide to be. Setbacks and failures will happen. But those that succeed have realistic perceptions of what success is to them and raise the bar gradually with every success they attain. Success to one person might be earning $60,000 a year, and success to another person could be helping their child gain university qualifications. Ultimately, success is relative to each individual. But by being realistic, we are able to not just dream big, but achieve big too. Many of us spend our lives searching for success when it is usually so close that we can reach out, touch it. Russell H. Conwell. IQ does not predict future success. Growing up, we are led to believe that a person's IQ is the dominant factor in whether we succeed or fail. Those with a high IQ will score high in tests, achieve the right grades, and get the dream job. That sounds like a comfortable fate, given that IQ is hereditary and unable to increase despite your best efforts. I always wondered about those with an average or below average intelligence level, people like me. Are we to accept that our chances of success are lessened through no fault of our own, without any possibility of increasing? I may not be a genius, but one thing I do know is that there are a number of traits and attributes which accumulate to give a more accurate reflection of our chance of achieving the dreams we believe in. According to a recent article by Angela L. Duckworth and Martin E. P. Seligman in the journal Psychological Science, Self-discipline is a better predictor of academic success than IQ. This was supported by a study undertaken by University of Pennsylvania researchers, in which a number of tests were performed and monitored. One experiment offered teens the choice of receiving $1 immediately or $2 the following week. The conclusion was that those with high levels of self-discipline outperformed their more impulsive peers on every academic performance variable. The self-control of an individual also proved more accurate than IQ in predicting academic performance over the school year. Having been an academic underachiever at high school, this information is extremely pleasing. It suggests that the deciding factor for success is not inherent and unchangeable, but something that we have a choice to exercise. We may not be able to increase our current intelligence, but we can condition ourselves to pass up short-term pleasure in hope of long-term sustainable gain. It is not enough to have a good mind. The main thing is to use it well. René Descartes. Why sleep is vital for anyone who wishes to succeed. Sleep is a crucial aspect of our lives that plays a significant role in determining our success. It's not just a time to rest and recharge. It's a time for our body to repair, rejuvenate, and grow. Without it, our physical and mental health can suffer, which can hinder our ability to achieve our goals. Many people often see sleep as a luxury, something that they can do without in order to get ahead. But the truth is, sleep is not a luxury. It's a necessity. It's essential for everyone who wishes to succeed in any aspect of their life, whether it's in their career, personal life, or relationships. Research has shown that those who consistently get enough sleep have higher levels of cognitive function, creativity, productivity, and overall better mental health. In contrast, those who are sleep deprived often suffer from fatigue, lack of concentration, and impaired decision-making skills. These factors can lead to poor performance, missed opportunities, and ultimately, failure. So, how can we ensure that we are getting enough sleep to achieve our goals? The answer is simple. Make it a priority. Set a consistent sleep schedule and stick to it, even on weekends. Create a sleep-conducive environment, including a comfortable mattress and pillow, and limit distractions such as noise and light. It's essential to remember that good sleep is not just about quantity, but also quality. It's crucial to prioritize quality sleep by avoiding caffeine and alcohol before bedtime and limiting screen time before sleep. Try incorporating relaxation techniques such as meditation or deep breathing exercises to calm your mind and help you fall asleep faster. Sleep is vital to achieving success in any area of life. It's not a luxury. It's a necessity that should be made a priority. By prioritizing good sleep habits, we can improve our overall health, cognitive function, and productivity, leading to success in all aspects of our lives. So, let's commit to getting enough sleep and watch ourselves soar to new heights.